In this video, I'm going to do a step-by-step beginner tutorial on how to use the BTCC Mobile App. If you're looking to learn how to trade futures using the mobile app, I made a separate tutorial for that, and I'll be sure to leave a link to that video in the description down below for anyone that might find that helpful. In this video, I'll show you how you can transfer assets onto the platform, such as Tether. Then I'll show you how to internally transfer your assets between your accounts. Then we'll head into the spot market. I'll show you all the different pairings as well as different asset classes that are available on the platform. From there, I'll get you familiar with the user interface and I'll demonstrate how to buy and sell assets using market orders, limit orders, and how you can set a stop loss with a trigger order. All of that and more with some tips and tricks along the way. If you'd like to create an account on BTCC, I left you a verified link in the description of this video as well as in the pinned comment down below. If you use that link when creating your account, you'll be saving 15% on all your trading fees for the lifetime of your account. BTCC also has some bonuses that are typically running for folks as well. So use that link when creating your account to save on fees and see what promotions are available to you. This video is not financial advice and is for educational purposes only. Always do your own research before ever using an exchange, including BTCC. I also left you some timestamps in the description down below, so at any point feel free to skip to a section that might be most relevant to you. Aside from that, don't forget to leave me a like and hit subscribe for future content. Let's get into the video. Creating an account on BTCC is nice and simple, whether you're doing that on your computer or from your mobile phone. If you clicked on my link in the description of this video, or in the pinned comment down below, you should be redirected to this page right here or some variation of it. You'll notice here on your computer that you can create an account by using an email, or you can click here and use a mobile number. Simply choose the option that makes the most sense to you. Then come up with a good password and simply click on Next. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll be able to see the promotion that is currently available to you. Now, at the time of making this video, the current promotion is you can unlock up to 30,000 USDT in welcome rewards. And I'll show you where to find those inside the app. Also, keep in mind that if you used my link when creating your account, you'll be saving 15% on all your trading fees for the lifetime of your account, in addition to whatever promotion might be available to you up here as well. Once you've created your account and signed into BTCC, you can get the mobile app by simply coming right up here, top right hand side, hover over this download icon. You'll see a little QR code drops down below here. You can scan that to get the app, or you can click right here where it says download options. You'll be redirected to this page here. You'll see the QR code over here on the right hand side. And over here, you'll be able to see that you can get the app from the Apple App Store, and you can also get it from the Google Play Store. Simply choose a download option that makes the most sense for you. And if you're watching this video on your phone and you'd like to create an account on BTCC, you can tap on the link in the description of the video or the pinned comment down below, and you'll be redirected to this page right here. Same thing, you can use an email or a mobile number to create your account. If you scroll down and you'd like to see the promotion that's available to you when you're watching this video, you'll be able to see it right down below here. To download the app, you might see this little drop down up at the top. You can tap right there on download, but you'll also notice right here that you can tap on Google Play Store or the Apple App Store right there as well to download the app. So if anybody needs to create an account and download the app, now's a good time to pause the video, create your account, and I'll see you on the next step of this tutorial. And here's the home page of the app once you sign in. Now, for whatever reason, if you didn't end up on this page, you can get here by simply tapping on the home button, bottom left-hand side of the app. Now, before we get cracking with this tutorial, I'd like to point out where you can find some welcoming bonuses and rewards. If you tap on the present icon, top right-hand side of the app here, it's next to the headphones. So we'll tap on that. And that brings you to this page here where you can get some welcome rewards and bonuses for using the application. Now, if you just scroll down this page here, you're going to see all the different bonuses that are available to you. Your page might look a little bit different than mine. It just depends on when you're seeing this video. But down here, you'll find some futures trading bonuses and deposit bonuses, things like that. The more you deposit, the more you trade with, the more bonuses you can receive. In some cases, you get vouchers for placing free trades on the futures market, and the profits are all yours to keep. Now, if you're going to be doing any of this stuff on the app anyway, just make sure to come in here and claim some of these rewards. And for anyone that's not interested in any of these bonuses, it's all good. If you use my link when creating your account, you'll be saving 15% on all your trading fees for the lifetime of your account, regardless of how much you deposit and trade with. Anyway, let's head back to the home page here by tapping on the back button, top left-hand side of the app. And we're back to the home page. Now on the home page, you're going to find a crypto deposit button right here, as well as right here. Just watch for my green flashing boxes there on the screen. You'll also see there's a buy crypto option here and here as well, but those options require KYC. Now at the time of making this video, KYC was not necessary to create an account and use this app, but some of the services will be limited. For example, you won't be able to buy any crypto using fiat, but you can still deposit tether onto the platform, trade on the spot market, trade on the futures market, and withdraw your crypto assets from there. Now I'll also point out, bottom right hand side of the app where it says assets, if you tap on that, this is going to bring you to this page here where you can see an overview of all your internal accounts. So all your different balances that you hold on BTCC. You'll notice up at the top, there's some navigation there. I'm currently set to overview. So this is showing me all my different accounts underneath portfolio there. You'll see you have a futures account, spot account, TradFi, and wallet account. You can toggle between these accounts by either tapping on them. So if I tap on futures account here under portfolio, you'll see that takes me straight into my futures account. Now this is where my crypto would have to be if I wanted to trade on the futures market. Now I have an entire video dedicated on how to do that, so I'll leave a link in the description down below for anyone that's interested in knowing how that works. But if we tap right here up at the top where it says spot next to futures, you'll see this toggles us into the spot account. This is where your assets need to be if you want to buy or sell crypto off of the spot market. And of course, if you tap here on TradFi, this takes you into your TradFi account. And I'll be showing you how you can internally transfer your assets between your accounts. But first, I'd like to show you how you can deposit crypto onto the platform. So we're back here on the home page of the app, and as I mentioned before, you can use the deposit crypto button here or here, but you can also tap where it says assets, bottom right hand side of the screen. And then here on the overview, so make sure you're set to overview at the top left hand side, you'll notice that there's a deposit button right here. So let's go ahead and tap on that deposit button. Now we're getting a couple options down below. There's fiat deposit. Remember, you can only do that if you've KYC'd. If you haven't KYC'd, you need to select deposit crypto down below. So we're going to tap on that. And that's also the option that you select when you simply want to send crypto from a self-custody wallet or from another crypto exchange. You want to select the on-chain transfer. Now on this page, you can choose the crypto that you wish to deposit onto the platform, or you can search for it in the search bar just by simply tapping on it. And then you can type in the crypto you wish to deposit. I'll demonstrate with Tether, so I'm going to type in USDT, which is the ticker symbol for Tether, and I can see a result right here, so let's tap on that. And now I've selected Tether. Now I need to choose the network that I wish to use to complete this deposit. Now, if you're sending from a self-custody hot wallet, you want to make sure that you choose the network that your assets are stored on inside your wallet. If you're sending from another exchange, you want to make sure that you match the network here to the network that you select on the other exchange. Remember, you always want to match the network. You don't want to send from one network and into another, or you will risk losing your crypto permanently. And I'll go ahead and do two demonstrations here. For the first demonstration, I'll demonstrate sending some Tether from my Phantom wallet to BTCC. And then on the next demonstration, I'll go ahead and send some Tether from another exchange. So I already know that I have some Tether stored inside my Phantom wallet on the Solana network. So on this page here, I need to choose the Solana network, and I can see it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. So now I've selected Tether, and I chose the Solana network. So now that I've done that, BTCC is generating my deposit address for Tether on the Solana network. Of course, you'll be able to see a QR code, so if you're sending from another phone, you can always scan that code, but you'll also see your deposit address down below. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to copy that deposit address to the clipboard by tapping on these two little boxes next to the deposit address. So now I've copied my Tether deposit address for the Solana blockchain. So now I'm going to bring my Phantom wallet into frame. So now that I've got my Phantom wallet into frame, I'm going to scroll down just slightly here, and I can see my Tether balance right here that's stored inside my wallet on the Solana blockchain. And I can see the Solana logo, bottom right hand side of the Tether logo there. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that Tether balance. Now from here, I'm going to tap where it says send, and up at the very top, I'm going to paste in my BTCC deposit address for Tether on the Solana blockchain, just like this. And now I'm going to come down here and tap on next. Now I can choose how much tether I want to send from my Phantom wallet over to BTCC. Of course, I can do a custom amount if I want, like this, but I just have a tiny bit here, so I'll go ahead and send all of it. I've got 233 tether, so I'm going to tap here on max, done, next. Now I can confirm that I've got the details correct. I can see the network matches the one that I selected over on BTCC, which was Solana. And of course, I can see my BTCC deposit address just up above that. Looks good, so I'm going to tap here on send. And now that tether's on its way from my Phantom wallet over to BTCC. So I'll bring BTCC back into frame. And now I've got the deposit form back here for BTCC. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of here by tapping on the back button, top left-hand side of the app. And now I'm back to the asset overview page. So while we're waiting for that tether, let's do one more quick demonstration, but this time I'll send from another crypto exchange over to BTCC. So I'm on the asset overview page here. You can see that up at the top left-hand side. If you're not on this page, remember you can get here by tapping on the asset button, bottom right-hand side of the app there. So I'm going to go ahead and tap the deposit button right here. It's next to convert, right in the middle there. Now I'm going to be choosing deposit crypto. And I'm going to do tether again. So I'm going to tap on the search bar and I'll type in USDT. I can see it there. We'll tap on that. Now I can choose a network that I wish to complete this deposit over, and I'll use a different network this time. Let's go ahead and do the BNB Smart Chain, which is the BEP20 right there. So I'm going to tap on that. Now BTCC has generated my deposit address for tether on the Binance Smart Chain. So again, I'm going to copy that address by tapping on these two boxes right next to the deposit address there. Now I've copied my tether deposit address for the Binance Smart Chain. So I'm going to go ahead and bring another crypto exchange into frame. Okay, now I've got another crypto exchange in frame here. This exchange is called Blowfin. If you're interested in learning about it, links in the description down below. So from here, I need to find the crypto withdraw button on this exchange. So I'm going to do that by tapping on assets, bottom right-hand side here. And I can see the withdraw button here in the middle next to deposit. So I'm going to tap on that. And I'm going to be tapping on chain. Now I need to choose tether. I can see it right up at the top, so I'll be tapping on that. And now I need to choose the correct network. So remember, I selected the Binance Smart Chain over on BTCC. So I need to choose that exact same network over here on Blowfin. So I'm going to tap right here where it says network. And I can see BNB Smart Chain BEP20 right there. So I'll tap on that. And now I'll paste in my BTCC deposit address for tether on the Binance Smart Chain up at the top here under address. Now I'm going to choose how much tether I wish to send from Blowfin over to BTCC. I can see my available balance right there. Again, just a tiny amount of tether here, 102 in total. So I'll go ahead and tap on max. And I'm going to tap here on withdraw and confirm the details, of course. I can see I've matched the network correctly, which is the BNB Smart Chain. I have the correct address here. Looks good. So I'm going to tap here on confirm. Now I'm going to do my security verification and this tether will be on its way. All right, my request has been submitted, so that tether very shortly will be on its way over from Blowfin to BTCC. Now, this process can take a little bit of time. It just depends on how congested the blockchain is and the verification process of wherever you're sending your assets from. Now, obviously, some of the withdrawal forms on different crypto exchanges and wallets can look a bit different, but the main takeaway is make sure that you're matching the network on both sides and, of course, the crypto that you wish to send. You don't want to send from one network to another, or you do risk losing your crypto permanently. So let's go ahead and head back over here to BTCC. All right, now I'm back on BTCC on the deposit form. So let's go ahead and head back to the home page by tapping on the back button, top left-hand side. And I'm going to tap it again. And we'll go ahead and tap down here on home. Now we're back to the home page of the app. And you can see my estimated total value has already been updated to 335. So the tether from Phantom Wallet, as well as the tether from Blowfin, has already arrived. And in this particular demonstration, it didn't take more than 5 minutes. Now to find those assets, now that they're on the platform, we're going to tap the assets button, bottom right-hand side of the app. Now we're back to the asset overview page, and in my case, the assets actually arrived in my futures account, which is perfectly fine if I want to trade futures, but in this tutorial, I'm going to be demonstrating the spot market. So the next step here, I'm going to show you how you can internally transfer your assets between your accounts. But just take a look down below, and you'll see the account that your assets arrived in. Sometimes they come to your wallet account as well. But as I mentioned, mine are in the futures account. You can see it right here. If we tap on futures account, there's the tether right there. All right, before buying and selling any crypto off the spot market, we'll make sure that we transfer our assets into the spot account. And I'll demonstrate this starting from the home page here. So to get this done, we're going to tap on Assets, bottom right-hand side of the app. On this page here, up at the very top left-hand side where it says Overview, let's go ahead and tap on that. Now we'll come down here to the middle of the app and we'll tap where it says Transfer between Convert and Withdraw. This will give us a form where we can internally transfer our assets between our accounts. There's no fees to get this done. It's simply an internal transfer. So my tether arrived in my futures account, so I'm going to have to transfer it from futures and into spot. I can see down here that futures is already on my screen, so the first thing I'm going to do is tap on these arrows. Now you can see I've flipped these around. Now you can see where it says to wallet account. I want that to say to spot account. So I'm going to tap on that. And down at the bottom, I'm going to select spot account. Now you can see I just configured this form to transfer from futures and into spot. So the next thing you want to do is you want to select the asset that you wish to transfer. And you can do that right here where it says cryptocurrency. In my case, it says tether, but you would tap on that. And then you'd choose the crypto that you wish to transfer into the spot account. I'm demonstrating with tether, so I'll be leaving that as it is. Next, we'll choose how much of the asset we wish to transfer, and you'll see your available balance right here. So you'll know exactly what you're working with. So if you want to do a custom amount, just tap on the quantity box and you just type in the custom amount that you wish to transfer. If you want to transfer all of it, just tap right here on max next to USDT. Now I'm going to tap here on done, and down below I'll tap on confirm. And confirm. And that tether just immediately transferred from my futures account and into the spot account. So I'll go ahead and close this out. Now I'll tap on the back button, top left-hand side of the app, and I'm back to the overview page. Now, if you look down below under portfolio, you'll see that tether is now in the spot account. So if we tap on spot account, we can take a closer look, and there's that 335 tether. So now I'm ready to buy some crypto assets or some tokenized stocks or whatever off of the spot market. All right, now that I've got some tether inside my spot account, I'm ready to buy and sell some assets off of the spot market. So to get into the spot market, we'll just tap on that trade button, bottom of the app, right in the middle there. Let's tap on that. And that's going to bring us over to an order form that you'll see on the left-hand side, as well as an order book that you'll see on the right-hand side. Now make sure up at the top that you're set to spot. You'll notice if I tap here on USDTM, this changes a little bit, and that's because this is now the futures market. So if you want to be on the spot market, just make sure you select spot up at the top. So we'll tap back here on spot. Now I'm viewing the order form for the spot market as well as the order book from the spot market. Now you'll find your different pairings, so all the different assets that you can buy and sell off the platform right here. So in my case where it says BTC USDT, if you tap on that, here's where you'll find all the different pairings that are available to trade on the spot market. You'll see them here if you scroll down like this. And you'll also notice that these are quoted in tether. This means that if you want to buy an asset using these pairings, you'll need tether to make the purchase. That's why I put tether in my spot account. But if you sold an asset using these pairings, you'd receive tether for the sale. I'll also point out right here, you've got this little navigation that slides left to right. You can see that if I slide it over like this, you can see where it says tokenized stocks. If I tap on that, now I can see all the tokenized stocks that are quoted in tether. So you can take your time, explore these, see what kind of assets are available that you might be interested in buying or selling. I'll just tap back here on all, and now I'm viewing all the different pairings on the platform. You can also search for something in the search bar. So if there's something specific that you want to buy or sell, tap on the search bar, and then you can just type in to search what it is you're looking for. So for example, let's imagine that I want to buy myself some Solana. I would type in SOL, which is the ticker symbol for Solana. Up at the very top, I can see the result that I want, so I'll tap on that. And as you can see above the order panel, I just changed the pairing to Solana versus Tether. If I want to get back to Bitcoin, we'll tap on the pairings again. I'm going to make sure I'm set to USDT here. And I can see Bitcoin right here, so I'm going to tap on that. And now I'm back to Bitcoin versus Tether. So make sure that you choose the pairing of the asset that you either wish to buy or sell. And for me, I'm using the USDT pairings because that's by far the most popular pairings at the time of making this video. And of course, I transferred Tether into my spot account. So if I was using the USDC pairings, I wouldn't be able to buy anything because I don't have any USDC inside my spot account. So that's how you can get through all the different pairings and select the asset that you wish to either buy or sell. All right, so on the left-hand side here is obviously our order panel. We can be a buyer or a seller. You would just tap on the option you wish to be. I'm currently set to buy, but if I wanted to sell something, I'd tap here on sell. Now I've configured the order panel to the sell side. You'll find your different order types if you tap right here. So in my case where it says limit order, and down at the bottom, you'll be able to see all the different order types that you're able to execute on this platform. You have limit order, market order, trigger limit, and trigger market, and I'll demonstrate these in this tutorial. To the right of the order panel, you'll see your order book, and that's showing you where market participants have placed their orders to either buy or sell an asset. And they're doing that by using limit orders, which I'll be demonstrating in this tutorial. On the top side of the order book in red, these are what's known as the asks. These are the price points that market participants have placed their orders to sell an asset. Down below in green, those are called the bids. These are the price points that market participants have placed their orders to buy an asset. That price in the middle of the order book is called the mid price. It's simply the price point that the asset is currently trading at. So all the prices up above in red are greater than the mid price, and all the bids in green down below are less than the mid price. When a trader comes along and executes a market order, they're matched up with the best available price off this order book, and the trade is executed immediately. And I'll be showing you market orders as well. Now, if you want to see the price action chart of any particular asset, you'll see the candlesticks just above the order book here. So if we tap on those candlesticks, that brings us over to this page here where you'll be able to see the price action chart of the asset that you're looking to trade. And of course, that's obviously showing you the asset's performance over a selected time frame. Up at the top is where you'll find your time frames. I'm currently set to a daily, but you can simply tap on the time frame that you wish to view. You can find additional time frames if you tap right here, the one with the arrow there. And down below, you'll find additional time frames. So if I wanted a 4-hour time frame, I'd tap here on 4H. And now I've just changed this price action chart to a 4-hour time frame. So now each candlestick down below represents 4 hours of time. I'm going to go ahead and switch this back to a daily. So I'm going to tap right here. Now we'll tap here on 1 day. Now I'm back to a daily time frame where each candlestick on this chart represents 1 day of time. Now down below, you'll notice I've got a MACD on here. You'll find some indicators in this little strip right here. So if I wanted to get rid of that MACD, I would tap here on MACD. And as you can see, I just got rid of it. But if you want to add an indicator, you just simply tap on the indicator you wish to add. So if I want the MACD back, I'll tap here on MACD. And as you can see, I just put the moving average convergence divergence back to the bottom of the chart. So that's how you can add a basic indicator to your price action chart. If we scroll a little further down here, you'll see a different view of the order book. And when you're ready to get back to trading that asset, you just tap here on trade at the bottom. And that brings you full circle back to the order form for that asset as well as the order book. All right, first I'll demonstrate a market order. These order types, they're nice and simple. They're going to execute immediately at the best available price off the order book, whether you're buying or selling an asset. So the first thing we need to do is choose the asset that we wish to either buy or sell by tapping on the pairings, just like I showed you before. Now in my case, I'm perfectly fine demonstrating with Bitcoin, so I'll be leaving that as it is. Next, choose if you're going to be a buyer or a seller. I'll demonstrate as a buyer first. I'm going to tap right here on buy. Next, we need to configure the order form into a market order. So we're going to tap right here. So in my case, where it says limit order. Then down at the bottom, we'll tap where it says market order. Now I've configured the order form to a market order. So all I need to do from here is choose how much I wish to buy of the asset or how much of my tether I wish to spend. You'll notice that there's a slider bar right here. If I was to slide that up to 54%, that would spend 54% of my available balance on the asset. If I slid that up to 100%, that would spend 100% of my available balance on the asset. Another option is to tap on this box right here where it says total USDT. And here's where you can type in a custom amount of tether that you wish to spend. And you'll be able to see your available balance right here. So you'll know exactly what you're working with. So I'll go ahead and buy 150 tether worth of Bitcoin. So I'll tap on that box and I'll type in 150, just like that. Now I have my market order configured the way that I want it. So I'm going to come down here and tap on buy. Now I'm getting my order confirmation pop-up window so I can confirm the details are what I intended. And indeed they are. I can see right here, I'll be buying 150 tether worth of Bitcoin. So I'm going to go ahead and tap here on confirm. And just like that, my order executed at the best available price off of the order book. Now, once you buy an asset off of the spot market, you'll be able to find it in your spot account. So to get there, we'll tap on assets, bottom right-hand side of the app. And you can see I'm already configured to the spot market up at the top. So if you're not, just tap where it says spot. And then right down here, you can see that Bitcoin that I just bought off of the spot market. As simple as that. Now, if I want to sell some of that Bitcoin with a market order, no problem. We would just tap on trade at the bottom of the app here. I'm back to the order form. I'd make sure the pairing is set to Bitcoin versus Tether up at the top, which it is. I would tap here on sell next to buy. I would make sure I'm set to market order. If I wasn't, I would tap here and select market order from the bottom. And now I would choose how much of the asset I wish to sell. For this demonstration, I'll just go ahead and slide this up with the slider bar. Let's do 52%. I'll be selling 52% of my Bitcoin at the best available price off the order book. Looks fine for this demonstration, so I'll tap here on sell. Confirm the details are what you intended. If they are, tap here on confirm. Just like that, I immediately executed that order at the best available price off the order book to sell that Bitcoin. So that's how market orders work. All right, now I'll show you a limit order. So limit orders give you the ability to choose a price point that you wish to place in order to either buy an asset or sell an asset. But you do need the price of that asset to reach your order price before your order is going to fill and execute your trade. So again, choose the asset from the pairings that you wish to set up a limit order for. I'm fine demonstrating with Bitcoin, so I'll leave it as it is. And for this first demonstration, I'll demonstrate by setting a buy order. So I'm going to tap here on buy. And now I'm going to tap right here where it says market order. And down at the bottom, I'm going to tap where it says limit order. Now I've configured this order form to a limit order on the buy side. So if I look at the order book, I can see the mid price right now for Bitcoin is currently 78,400 approximately. Let's imagine that I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but maybe I think Bitcoin's going to pull back a bit before it finds some support and moves to a higher price point. For whatever reason, maybe I think Bitcoin's going to pull back to 70,000. So what I'll do is I'll tap on the price box right here, and I'm going to type in 70,000, just like this. Now I need to choose how much of the asset I wish to purchase at 70,000 or how much of my available tether I wish to put in this order. So for this demonstration, I'll tap here on the total box and I'll go ahead and type in 100 USDT. So I'm placing a buy order for 100 tether worth of Bitcoin at 70,000. So that's what I intend to do. So I'm going to tap down here on buy. Now I'm getting an order confirmation pop-up window down below here, confirming the details are what I intended. And I can see the limit price here of 70,000. That's where I'm placing my order to buy a total of 100 USDT worth of Bitcoin. So this looks as I intended. So I'm going to tap here on confirm. Now I just placed that limit order onto the order book. So if the price of Bitcoin falls down and hits 70,000, this order is going to fill and I'll be buying 100 tether worth of Bitcoin. If we scroll down, you can see my open order right here that's resting on the order book. If you don't see yours, just make sure you tap where it says open orders. This order is going to stay on the order book until it either fills or you come by and manually cancel it. So at any point, if you do want to cancel any of these, you'll see cancel order right next to the one you wish to cancel. I just have the one on the order book right now, so I can see cancel order next to BTC USDT. So just tap on that, tap on confirm, and I just took that limit order off of the order book. Of course, if you want to use a limit order to sell your asset, you can do the same thing, but in the other direction. We would come up to the top of the order panel, we would tap on sell. We would make sure we're set to limit order. If we weren't, we would tap here. We would choose limit order down below. Then we would choose a price point that we wish to sell the asset. So if I look at the mid price of the order book, I can see Bitcoin's at 78,350 approximately. Let's imagine that I'm bearish on Bitcoin and I want to sell it, but maybe I think Bitcoin's going to come a little bit higher before it rejects and then ultimately moves to a lower price point. For whatever reason, let's imagine that I think Bitcoin's coming up to $83,000 before it sells off to the downside. So maybe I want to place an order there. So I'm going to tap here on price and I'll type in 83,000 just like this. Now I need to choose how much of my Bitcoin that I wish to sell at that price point. So I'll just use the slider bar this time. I'll slide it up to 100%, meaning that I'll be selling 100% of my Bitcoin at 83,000 if the price of Bitcoin comes up to that price point. So now I'm going to go ahead and tap here on sell, and I'm going to confirm the details are what I intended. I can see indeed they are. I see my orders being placed at 83,000. I see how much of my Bitcoin I'll be selling if that price point gets hit. And I can see the total tether value of that order as well. Looks good, so I'm going to tap here on confirm. Now I just placed that limit order to sell my Bitcoin up at $83,000. If we scroll down, I can see that limit order here under open orders. Remember, this Bitcoin's not going to sell unless the price of Bitcoin reaches 83,000. So if we look at the mid price of Bitcoin, we see it's at 78,300. If it falls from here and goes all the way down to Goblin Town, I won't be selling my Bitcoin because it failed to come up and hit my price point of 83,000. Now, once again, if you want to cancel these, come down under open orders, tap cancel next to the one you wish to cancel. So I'll be tapping here, then I'll be tapping on confirm, and peace out. I just canceled that limit order to sell my Bitcoin at 83,000. So as you can see, limit orders do give you the ability to choose a price point that you wish to be a buyer or a seller. They can be convenient if you're going to be going to bed and you want to make sure you have an order set at a certain price point. And you might wake up in the morning and see that your order filled. So they can be useful if you're not going to be around your phone or around your trading terminal. But you do need the price of the asset to reach your order price before the order is going to fill and execute. But that's how you can use a limit order. All right, I'm going to show you how you can set a stop loss by using a trigger order on the spot market. So again, the first thing we want to do is you want to tap on your pairings and choose the asset that you hold on account that you wish to set a stop loss for. Obviously, you can't set a stop loss unless you already own the asset. So I'm fine demonstrating with Bitcoin, so I'll be leaving that as it is. Next, we'll make sure we're set to sell up at the top there of the order panel, tap on sell, and then we're going to tap right here. So in my case, where it says limit order. Then down below, you have two options. You have trigger limit and trigger market. I'll demonstrate with a trigger market first, and then I'll take some time and explain how a trigger limit works. So we're going to be tapping here on trigger market. Now I've configured the order panel for a trigger market order. So the next thing I need to do is choose a price point that I wish to set the stop loss at. And I can do that by tapping where it says stop price. Now, when you look in the mid price of the order book, we see Bitcoin's at 78,349. Let's imagine, just for fun, that I want to set a stop loss just below 78,000. So what I'll do is I'll tap here on stop price, and let's go 77,990, just for the sake of demonstration. Next, I need to choose how much of the Bitcoin I want to sell if that price point gets hit. So what I'll do is I'll just use the slider bar here. I'll slide it up to 100%. And now I'm ready to set my stop loss. I'll tap here on sell. Now I can confirm the order details are what I intended, and I can see that they are. So I can see the stop price is at 77,990. So if the price of Bitcoin falls and hits that price point, my Bitcoin is going to sell immediately at the best available price off of the order book around that price point. So this looks good. I'm going to tap here on confirm. Now I've placed that stop loss. So if we scroll down and if we tap on open orders, I'm already set to that, but if you weren't, tap on that, then tap here on trigger orders. And here's where you'll see your stop loss. So if the price of Bitcoin suddenly hits 77,990, that's going to trigger an order to sell my Bitcoin immediately at the best available price off of the order book. That'll stay there till it either fills or I cancel it. So if you want to cancel it, just tap here on cancel order and confirm. And I just got rid of that stop loss just like that. Now I'll quickly explain a trigger limit order. So again, make sure you're set to sell on your order panel, then tap here where it says trigger market. Then we'd come down here and tap where it says trigger limit. So what this gives you the ability to do is, first of all, choose a price point as your condition to trigger a stop loss to sell, just like we did with the market order. So I can see on the mid price of the order book, Bitcoin's at 78,300 approximately. Let's imagine I want to set up a trigger price at just below 78,000 again. So I'm going to tap here on stop price and I'll do 77,990 again, just like this. Now I need to choose a price point that I wish to sell the asset at. Now, the way this works is it gives you the ability to tell BTCC what an acceptable price point is for your asset. So you're basically saying to the platform, hey, if my stop price gets hit and this price point or better isn't available, don't sell my assets whatsoever. In crypto, assets can get moving very quickly in high market volatility scenarios. Remember that a stop loss is based on the order book. So if there isn't a lot of orders sitting on the order book, which is also known as a thin order book, there can be what's known as slippage. So if the price of an asset is moving really fast and it hits your stop price, you might actually get filled at a really low dollar amount because there wasn't very many orders on the order book to begin with. Now with something like Bitcoin, there's quite a bit of liquidity, so it's not usually a huge issue. But with this order type, you're able to tell BTCC that, hey, if that stop price gets hit, here's my bottom dollar acceptable price point. If that's not available in the order book or better, then don't sell it at all. So this is where we get to choose what the limit price is going to be, what that acceptable dollar amount is. So we'll tap here on price, and just for the sake of demonstration, I'll go ahead and put in 77,250. So I'm basically telling BTCC that if 77,990 gets hit, either sell my Bitcoin for 77,250 or better. But if the price somehow gets below 77,250, don't sell it at all. In some cases, traders might like to wait for a bounce, or they just think to themselves, you know what, if I can't get at least this much for it, then I might as well just hold it. Now, a quick tip with this, make sure you leave enough breathing room between your stop price and your limit price. Remember, like I said before, if an asset gets moving really fast and it's dumping to the downside, it can get below your acceptable price faster than BTCC can get that order through for you on the order book. And a good way to mitigate the risk of that is just making sure to leave enough breathing room between your stop price and the price point of your limit price. So now that I have this configured, I need to choose how much of the asset I wish to sell. If my stop price gets hit, I'll just use the slider bar up to 100%, and I'll tap here on sell. Now I'll confirm the details are what I intended, and they are. So the stop price here, if Bitcoin falls and hits 77,990, BTCC is going to sell my Bitcoin for 77,250 or better. If there's a better price point available in the order book, when my stop price gets hit, I'll actually sell the Bitcoin for a higher price point. So this looks good. I'm going to tap here on confirm. And I just placed that trigger limit order. Again, if we scroll down, and if you're not already set to open orders, just tap on that, then tap where it says trigger orders, and here's where you'll see your stop loss. If you want to cancel it, just tap on cancel order and confirm. And see you later, alligator. There goes the stop loss. So that's how you can set a stop loss on the spot market by both using a stop market or a stop limit. If you use a stop market, when your price point gets hit, BTCC is just going to simply sell your assets at the best available price on the order book when that stop loss gets hit. So remember, if you're trading an altcoin that doesn't have much liquidity, you might get a price point for it that you don't desire. So if you want to avoid that, you can use a stop limit that tells BTCC that, hey, if my stop price gets hit, sell it for this much or better if it's available on the order book when my stop price gets hit. If I can't get at least this much for my asset, then don't sell it at all. So that's how you can use a stop loss on the spot market. And there you have it, your introduction to using the mobile app. If you got some value out of that, don't forget to leave me a like and hit subscribe for future content. Also, feel free to check out my other BTCC tutorials, which I've put together in a playlist on my YouTube channel. Thanks for coming by and checking out this video. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. And until I do, have yourself a powerful day.